Now, intermittent power supply now threatens Zambia's key sectors of economic growth, with other business owners experiencing regular power cuts that they say are eating into profits. This comes after mining companies operating in Zambia's copper belt recently agreed to reduce power usage by between 10 and 15% in order to ease pressure on the national grid after water levels of hydroelectric plants dropped due to drought.
Power remains one that is not only exclusive to some parts of Nigeria, South Africa and Ghana, but also Zambia. This is Mercy Fury. She pours diesel into a generator so she can switch on the appliances for the day. Fury is the manager at a restaurant in Lusaka, Zambia. Business has been anything but good lately. Thanks to frequent power cuts in the city, she ends up spending more on fuel and charcoal to run the kitchen, which pushes expenses up and slows operations down.
The load shedding that we are experiencing, it's affecting us a lot due to that we're even getting our salaries maybe at per 15 or 20 something. So, and the idea of using charcoal when you're here, the place is not even conducive.
Africa's second biggest copper producer cut its power generation by 300 megawatts in May after water levels in dams dropped following a prolonged drought. On the other side of town, workers at the Kasumbi Welding Center are racing against time to get clients' jobs done before the power goes off. Cephas Kasumbi runs the business that makes grill doors and window frames. He says hours of power cuts have almost put him out of business, and he now makes losses of about $700 a month.
We can work maybe from 8 hours to 12 hours. There is no power. Maybe sometimes from 7 hours to 16 hours, no power. So if there is any way, maybe government can do, or if they can do something to stop these load shedding issues, I think they can help us.
Zambia's power generation capacity stands at 2,200 megawatts, with the bulk of the electricity produced from hydropower, but supply is often erratic. Output fell to 1,900 in March after Lake Kariba and Kafue Gorge plants both recorded low water levels. Africa's #2 copper producer also introduced power cuts in July, affecting production in the power-intensive mining sector. The government says plans are underway to improve power supply, but in the meantime, everyone will have to play a part in sharing the burden as state power utility ZESCO Limited works on modernizing facilities.
We are headed towards the right direction because we are upgrading all these substations. Most of these substations have seen better days. They have been existing for over 40 years. And this is a reason why we have said it is now time to increase the tariffs. Of course, we have applied to ERB, suggesting that we wanted 26%. The reason why we want that money is to put up a total overhaul of all these facilities.
On the streets of Lusaka, residents say every aspect of daily life has been affected and are calling on the government to find a solution fast.
The performance of pupils have really gone down because you find that when you give them homework, when they go home, they come back the following day, they would give excuses to say, no, we had no power at home.
And not every church is able to afford a genset, and if those few churches who have got genset, probably, the issue of diesel also is part of it. So it's really affecting the church in terms of, in the midst of the service, maybe, power will cut.
In the meantime, a scorching drought has hit crop harvests across southern Africa, hitting economic growth and threatening to push food prices and inflation higher. Electricity supply in Zambia is expected to remain tight.
Now, as you already know, illegal migration remains an ever-present threat, with about 3,000 deaths having occurred in this year alone. Most of the migrants often flee violence in their countries, flocking from mostly Africa and the Middle East. It's however important to know that not all illegal migrants are fleeing violence. Some are in search of greener pastures based on that facade of the life that is grand and greener in Europe, and its environs, they tend to try to migrate to such countries illegally. Now, based on this, security checks in embassies are anything but easy, as authorities are trying to ensure that they do not grant visas to people who may never return. Take Uganda's freestyle kayaking team, for instance. They are presently competing at the World Championships in Canada, but they almost never made it. Their visa applications were rejected 2 times, allegedly over fears that they would not return home once they arrived to Canada.
Ugandan freestyle kayakers navigate the rapids of the Nile River Basin with ease. Yet these are some of the roughest and toughest waters in the world. Hundreds of tourists, thrill seekers, and canoeing enthusiasts flock here every year to take on Class 5 rapids, large and hazardous waves that require extreme, precise, and skillful maneuvering. They are a kayaker's ultimate challenge. One of the waves here is so revered it has earned its own name, the Nile Special, and is the reason Uganda's freestyle kayakers feel they stand the best chance against almost 30 teams currently taking part in the World Freestyle Kayaking Championships in Ottawa, Canada.
The wave I have been training on, the Nile Special, this on the Nile, is really good. It has the same features like the ones on the ones we are going to do like the World Championships on, so it's quite the same.
Basiliwa and his team members' first 2 applications for visas to Canada were rejected. Canadian newspaper Ottawa Citizen reports that they had obtained government documents saying that the visas were denied because of fears that the team would not return home after the championships. Their 3rd application was then accepted on August the 21st. By then, the cost of flights had gone up and they could not afford the tickets. An appeal online helped them raise the money they needed to make the trip possible, just in time for the tournament, which kicked off on August the 30th. The kayakers are now in Ottawa and are taking part in the heats. The Ugandans say the experience has made them even more determined to show that they are the best freestyle kayakers at the tournament.
Whenever I was training, most of the people whom we are going to compete with, we know them, and they have been coming here because of this river, because it's warm water. They normally come and practice on this river, and also sometimes I may meet my students whom have been like teaching kayaking.
Freestyle kayaking has been called the gymnastics of the canoeing discipline. Uganda's White Nile is considered a crucial challenge for any professional kayaker alongside rapids in Canada, the Alps, Norway, and even Nepal.